Peace up. A. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of 01c3 nonprofit arts and creative lifestyle organization based in the metro Atlanta, Georgia area. The one and only, the international. My Uzi weighs a ton, mother. Yeah. ONYXCON. Say it with your chest. What's up, y'all? Yeah, I'm on one today. I gotta talk about some shit. Yeah, it's gonna be one of them. Put the kids to bed, damn it. Parental advisory is in full effect for this one, damn it. I might be cussing more than normal up in here. I'm gonna try and control myself. Seriously, though. All right? But we're gonna talk about some of the reactions, legit and not legit, to our girl Riri. That's the character. Okay, not talking about Rihanna when I say Riri. I'm talking about Riri, the character. All right? The Marvel Universe character, the show Ironheart. The black, young, talented female lead actress with the show on Disney Plus, Marvel Universe show that I hate to say because it's executive produced by my good brother who I respect with all my heart. I truly do. Ryan Coogler. But the votes are in, the opinions are in. The naysayers were already talking about Ironheart. 6 episodes, first season. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna make it to a second season. I just don't. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna break down why. But I wanna make it clear, very crystal clear. Okay? Spring water from a mountain clear. You understand? That by no means is anything I'm about to say or my opinions those of ONYXCON as an entire entity. These are just my thoughts on the topic of why the show does not work. But at the same time, I want it majorly understood that I admire, I champion, I salute, and I am a proud fellow thespian when it comes to the actors and talent involved on this show, because Ironheart has a lot of incredible talent, including, of course, #1 on the call sheet, the young actress who plays Riri herself. Now, let me get this for you. This is a live. I'm not looking at notes. I don't have anything. This is, you know, if you know my channel, if you're not new here. And shout out to my monetization nation. That's what I call my people who are subscribers. That's what I call my people who understand the mission of ONYXCON as a whole, who understand all of the elements, as we call them, okay? All the different types of niche that we have here, the niche content we have. That's how you actually pronounce that word, by the way. I hear people saying all the time. The niche, it's niche, y'all. It's niche. I mean, you know, if people still understand what you said when you said it, cool, fine. You know, communication is where it's at, but it's niche. It'd be cracking me up when I hear people. The niche, the Nietzsche. You know, when you have multiple Nietzsches, or don't let it be AI talking. Oh my gosh. AI, y'all need to stop that, first of all. Let me just say that real quick. Them little AI voiceover videos, y'all need to stop, for real. Can y'all please stop? It's ridiculous. Not ridiculous, ridiculous, okay? How the hell you got folk, I mean, they be mispronouncing folks' names, mispronouncing countries, mispronouncing titles of entities. We're talking about some, man, oh my gosh. And you call yourself educating the masses? This is an educational video on YouTube? Man, this is ridiculous. And it's really bad when the information is right. Like, I hate the ones where I'm like, I'm checking points. I'm like, okay, that's true. But why do you keep saying Nietzsche? The word is niche. Damn, and it's not a potato situation. Some words you really have to say them the way they were intended, or it's not the word, damn it. You could be saying another word in another language, and somebody in that language over there said, why did he just say dog does not have hole in eyeball with chicken? Like, you know, you could be saying the stupidest ish ever in another language, because languages be like that. Like words we take, you know, if you don't know, I love languages, by the way. I don't know any language other than English and a lot of dialects directly, but I dabble in Spanish. I got a handful of words in Japanese. I got a couple of words in Korean. I got a couple of words in Yiddish. Okay, you know, I got a couple of words. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple of words in Farsi. I got a couple of words in a lot of languages, but I definitely am not, you know, bilingual. I'm not even going to pretend to be. I think I'm high potential when it comes to Spanish. But let's get back into the topic because I'm going on a tangent. And again, if you don't know the channel, you don't know how I flow here. This is what I do. When I go live, I just be freestyling most of the time. But we're going to have a topic today, and the topic is Ironheart. All right, we're going to talk about why I don't even want to say agree because I don't like the way these people are reviewing a lot of them on YouTube. I saw 2 reviews so far. Well, before I saw the 2 reviews, I saw, like, you know, posts on Facebook and Fanbase, or not so much on Fanbase, but Facebook and stuff on Instagram, you know, like quick meme style. People just, oh my gosh, this show, what the hell? Or making little jokes, and they do the little cutaways and have clips from other stuff that may or may not be directly related to enough of what the show is to make the joke, and then sometimes the joke don't, because, you know, humor is individual. Everybody don't think the same stuff is funny, but, you know, a lot of people who think this stuff up, or they base all their stuff off some AI results, some numbers on a screen, and somebody said, you know, this is considered funny according to what, man? You can't tell people what's funny. That's an individual choice, and the shit be lame. And you can tell half the time it's by some very immature minds, extremely immature minds. But that's where Silver Fox comes in. That's when these gray hairs can tell you stuff that them goofies can't. So class is in session. Let's start with the fact that Riri, the character, Riri Williams, the genius character, who is a reflection of what she is in the comics. She is this genius. She is a technological, she's a STEAM dream, okay? If you know about science, technology, engineering, art, okay? And all that, when they say, you know, because a lot of times you got some folks who want to just say STEM. They just want to deal with STEM. Mechanical only, they would leave out the A. They don't want to put the art in there with the education. And that's the flaw. Because through the arts, you inspire the imagination to even create the science. That's a fact. Kids get interested in it when they see the cool cartoon that's got the crazy looking character that can do all the super amazing shit. You hear? Right. Yeah. And there will be interruptions. If you don't know the format, this is how it goes when I'm live like this. Mr. Wheeler be wheeling, you know what I'm saying? Got to keep moving. Gots to keep moving. And it's another one of those days, you know what I mean? So we're getting ready for this order. But as I was saying, so kids are inspired by the art if they want to be a scientist. I've read so many articles, I've seen it, I got receipts, I got proof, I got everything you want to prove my point, what I'm saying. Most of the world's greatest scientists, if you go back to when they said, when did you want to first become a scientist? Well, I used to watch this movie with this mad scientist, a movie that is a work of art. It inspired them to say, I want to do that. So as a concept, Riri Williams is awesome. So, okay, now that I'm settled, I might be able to give y'all some IMDb notes. I might be able to give y'all some IMDb notes on these people, okay? Dominique Thorne, that's the actress who plays Riri Williams. And Anthony Ramos, shout out to my Boricua brethren. He's Puerto Rican, Puerto Rico, stand up, you know what I'm saying? And he plays the leader of a group. By the way, there will be slight spoilers. I say slight because I didn't finish watching the show. I told y'all this is going to be my reasons for why I did not enjoy it and why I think, unfortunately, it's just not the win. It's like, and it's sad because the actors, just with those 2 I just mentioned, these are stellar actors. She's a great actress. He's an amazing actor. I was introduced to that brother through She's Gotta Have It, the series, the Spike Lee based and executive produced series with multiple writers involved and all that. But if you've never seen She's Gotta Have It, the series on Netflix, do yourself a favor because it's really good. It's excellent, excellent, excellent Did I say excellent? Excellent. Okay. Hold tight. Let me get. All right. We back. Get y'all in here stable. Get my stuff set up here. All right. Okay. So as I was saying, you got some amazing talent on the show, and I sincerely want to make that clear for my fellow thespians. Like, a lot of people, they're just a bunch of shock jocks when it comes to YouTubers. I'm not saying everybody. I don't generalize like, oh, that's all they are, or every podcaster is the same. And no. We're not doing that. But I will say that birds of a feather flock together, and if birds of a feather are garnering an audience that is their same type of feather, and they start hitting millions on everything they post, whether it's trash, shock jock style or not, because you got a bunch of extremists online that love negative energy. These people wake up in the morning, eat a bowl of negative, eat another plate of negative for lunch, and a sugary bowl of negative for dinner. That's their life, y'all. That's their life. Like, they bask in what is to them the glory of negativity. They don't look for good news. They want bad news. They want negative reviews. They want, oh, there's never been a good movie made. No show is worth a damn. Everything's whack. And their opinion is godly. Like, man, sit your simple ass down and shut up. And I almost want to start naming channels and all that. But see, then that would seem like I'm just trying to be a part of that same kind of stuff I'm saying I don't want to be on. I don't like all that negative energy. It's an archetype at the end of the day, because it's not one individual that thinks this way. It's a lot of them. What needs to start happening, though, for all of us who have more sense and actual value about how we move in the world and in life, make it known that you support this type of intellectual perspective on stuff. Make it known that when you get your movie reviews, you would rather get them from somebody like me who is actually in the film business. Been on set for Marvel films. Both Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. She-Hulk. Multiple Spider-Man films. Venom, the first one. Oh, I can go on and on and on and on and on. Captain America, Civil War. What you want? I said on set. I didn't say sitting in some basement with them damn neon lights that, yeah, it looks cool the first 10 times I saw it. But if I see another motherfucker with a cool, nice sounding, because it's good equipment. Don't get me wrong. See, I give points where points are deserved. All right? Unlike them that just take away and never give no respect to nothing. Everything's negative. But I'm sick and tired of seeing the well laid out basement studios or whatever room in your house studios from these so-called podcasters, influencers, whatever. And they all got the same lame opinions. Like, they're like one puppet with a giant negative hand up all their asses. Yeah, I said it, damn it. It's pathetic, man. Like, where's your own gumption to do and say anything? What do you stand on as just you? So I was listening to one this morning, because, the algorithm throws you stuff on purpose. Golly. And this dude's whole thing, I'll just say this, and if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because it's trending. The issue done hit over 1 million views, and I hate to say I'm part of that because I wanted to see how negative is negative from people who are dogging this thing out. Because, like I said, I'm not happy with it either, but I'm not obsessed with disgracing it to the point I'm going to just tear down everything about it. No, because I understand there's a process. There are people whose lives are involved. Their livelihood is involved. And it's not as simple as a bunch of spoiled kid in the brain. And not all kids are that stupid. So I'm not even going to put that on a kiddie brain. Just being a stupid person, period, where everything's a little whiny, brat fest of I didn't get what I want, and it's this and it's that, and then when they say all the right keywords, you know who's in the room. Because this particular one, by the drunk, we'll just call him that. Because the channel alludes to that, the title. I didn't even look at the name of the damn title. Like I say, they're all like one big thing. They're a Thanos glove of thinking they got power. But y'all know what happened to Thanos, right? Okay, yeah, all right. So umph your 5 fingers and anything like you. Because y'all are disgraceful. All you do is spread chaos. Your whole motive in life is chaos instead of union and tranquility in some form of. You ain't gotta agree with everybody. I damn sure don't. You ain't gotta appreciate what everybody does. I damn sure don't. I'm the one who over here tells y'all every time I go live, I say, yo, we don't say for the culture when it comes to the ways of hip hop as somebody born into it, and this being the hip hop, the continuum of the hip hop era that will never die. Hip hop will always be here because it was all the elements of what make hip hop were always here, period. But since it's so prevailing and powerful and universal, you know, when phrases get started out, they become universal. So people be saying for the culture, for the culture. I don't like that phrase. I tell y'all, we say over here for the cultures, plural with an S or with a Z. I made the hashtag. Me. And that's just giving credit where credit is due. Damn it. It is what it is. So my point is, I don't like when folks like that, like I said, I'll just call this dude's channel The Drunk because of what it alluded to. I mean, he called himself that in the name. I didn't even look at it. I sent my opinions from and if you know, like I said, if you know the channel, because it's obviously popular, damn fool's review got over 1 million, you know. And that bothers me. Hell yeah, that bothers me because people who deserve to be hitting millions, okay, all right, we gotta fight an uphill battle. Is steady, just oh my god. Then they realize why all the elders, all the folk that live longer, that have these stronger, more refined opinions that ain't got to be said with every bit of slang and every bit of the same damn little pop culture references that are overplayed sometimes or not even fully understood by people outside the cultures trying to pretend they cool and understand what the hell they use as their little spin-offs, you know, because they do that. Yeah, they do that. So is my sound good? Somebody's, I think, trying to let me know that there was some issues with the sound, which can happen, unfortunately. You know, this is live, this is moving, so it gonna be what it gonna be. Just let me know, can you hear? That's all I need to hear, because it's gonna switch and change. You know how that go. Like I say, I'm good. All right, cool. So as I continue, thank you. You know, like I said, I'll just call the dude because he references his own health problems in his title. On his page, the fool said basically he's a drunk. It's just ranting and ranting, and with I don't know if it's English accent, something UK or Australian. I admit sometimes I can't tell the difference. Sometimes I got friends from the UK. I've known people from Australia, but it can be tricky. I ain't gonna front that accent thing with them two can be tricky on which one it is. And then at the end of the day, I don't even know if that's a real person. It could be an AI voice. Come on, man, stop playing. Stop playing. But he went on and on and on about everything that was wrong with the show. And in the beginning of some of the things that were said, I was like, okay, I know what he's referencing here. I could partially, I swear, partially agree, because I'm not trying to agree completely, knowing that this person has an agenda. And then the agenda started. Because they started yelling keywords that, again, people use these hashtag words that are trigger hashtags for algorithms to pick up, oh, that's a popular topic because people love a fight. And they cause fights online. And can in reality. But you know, that's a whole nother conversation. that none of these motherfuckers would be on here trying to become millionaires on YouTube for if they really valued their life. I mean, come on, they ain't about that life. So let's just leave that part alone. Can we? Thank you. Right. But so he's going on and on about how the show is whacking this way, whacking that way, total travesty. But then he starts saying, and it's DEI, it's diversity, and it's woke, and I said, oh goddamn, here we go. Here we freaking go. And he's doing cutaways showing a scene from Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but with only Anthony Mackie in the famous scene as Captain America where he had to confront the guy, if you've seen the show, if you watched all of the series, okay, where he confronts the guy who makes the racist comment towards him being Captain America. So it's obvious from that point on, I was like, okay, right. Yeah, and I made a comment, you can, if you know which channel I'm talking about, like I said, I'm not trying to push nothing this fool's way. If you know, whatever is worth looking at my statement. I'm giving you everything I thought right now in verbal. You ain't even got to look it up. But if you just want to go read, whatever, and you know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm not going to tell this person's name because I don't want them to get more numbers today. I want you to stay right here at ONYXCON and get some numbers to something that is valuable. Something that could actually teach you something. True edutainment. Not the buffoonery. Right? Was dissing any and every part of the show with representation. Now, the thing I don't like about how sometimes representation is used in a lot of modern concepts, films, shows, etc., popular shows, is it's tokenism. It's complete tokenism. It's obvious inclusion for only checking off boxes, not really valuable characters with in-depth stories that you want to care for, that you give a damn about, so that if somebody gets knocked off on the show, you like, man, I don't have to agree with the way they thought, or I don't have to be of that sexual orientation to feel for another human being through a character, that I could just relate to pain in general from a human experience, because they gave me enough about the character for me to give a damn about the character. And the relationships between characters that have so much not in common, but maybe one thing in common with a unified goal, which is what this consortium of bandits are that Riri Williams, Ironheart, becomes a part of in the show. They are like a bunch of folks like herself. They were down on their luck. They were never appreciated for their talents. They're master hackers. They're master martial artists. They're master engineers. They're master tricksters. They're master whatever, right? They got all these skills, right? And they're supposed to be like a Robin Hood crew. Like they're supposed to be giving back to the poor and other disenfranchised and marginalized. But without even seeing all 6 episodes, because like I say, I did not sit through that. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I could already see from the first episode and a little bit of the next episode, I wasn't going to be able to finish this show. And I didn't like that. I didn't not want to finish the show. But I got to take it all the way back to the very beginning of how Riri was introduced in Wakanda Forever. And to be honest, my problem starts there. Again, I'm going to say again, because people might be just coming in now and didn't hear me make this declaration at the beginning of this. This ain't just a rant for rant's sake. I'm in the film business. So I'm not stepping on the feet of my ambitious colleagues who finally got a part. And I'm not jealous by no means. I'm proud and happy to see people get work. What I'm frustrated about is what I would have to say, and this is daring to say when you're in the biz, because, man, damn, you never know what you could be on a script, and you never know who could be watching and who could see what and take offense, and you can't get work because they're like, yeah, I saw your little review. They're gonna have to say little and try and dog you out and make it seem like you ain't doing nothing because you're on YouTube instead of on $1 billion set. But it's like, guess what, Trick? I've been on many $1 billion sets, and I know people who respect me and have opportunities. Let me keep that to myself. Anyway, let's just say, all I'm gonna say is this. I'm just saying, in the business, it's typically it's kind of a hush-hush energy around a lot of things. Like, don't talk too much about people because you never know who you might have to work with. Well, my thing is this. Once I find out your work doesn't fit the brand of how I want to be remembered as an artist, I don't want to work with you no way. And I'll stand on that. There's no amount of money that's gonna make me say, well, what did I say? Well, maybe I will, because I thought I would never play a role like that because it's against my morals and ethics, but I think I will do it because no, that ain't me. And then me at the end of the day, that can definitely be a reason why, in some cases, in an artist's career in this world, with the Hollywood side of it especially, that you don't work on certain stuff or you haven't gotten certain opportunities because people smell that he's standing on his shit for real about you. And they know they can't bend you. And they like, yeah, leave that dude alone. He is not joking. Like, he's respectful, but if you cross the line, yeah, he that one. He ain't gonna play with you. He gonna say, I told you I'm a grown-ass man. I'm not doing it. And I mean that. I'd rather hop out this car, keep talking to y'all, get 1 million subscribers, get monetized on YouTube, than to do any role or be a part of anything I don't agree with for how I want to be remembered for my legacy, because I know my purpose. Yeah, y'all. So yeah, y'all, like I was saying, it's about freedom, y'all. It's about freedom in whatever you do, creatively, occupationally, etc. And as an artist first, no matter what the discipline of art, I refuse to sacrifice integrity for the sake of a damn check, because once you do, they know. They like, oh, okay, we got that one. They'll do anything. And they will have you doing shit. Please believe it. Please believe it. You can find yourself doing anything. And that's for any career. That's for any career. This doesn't just apply to the arts. That's for anything. If you don't have your boundaries where respect comes first, then power, then money, you live in all money, well then yeah, man, please. You'll be in an old folks home one day talking to yourself and revealing all of the worst stuff you did to yourself and other people with your Alzheimer's and other deficiencies of the brain. And I'm speaking from experience because I used to work with seniors for like, oh my gosh, 10 years. Okay, like over a decade of work I did working with senior citizens teaching art. And I dealt with many different populations too. The demographic was, in Atlanta, it was mostly black at most of the centers I went to. A lot of well-educated and hardly educated. I'm not saying everybody's educated, but different levels of education. I'm saying there was country education, street education, maybe mix of both, higher learning, doctor, lawyer, I dealt with all that. And I worked at one center where it was white, Latino, a couple of Asian, Middle Eastern. And I saw how across the board it don't matter about ethnicity. You get to that stage in life, man, life is just life. And you're going to find out how human is. It gets you better. As they say, once an adult, twice a child, because you're born a child. They say, you go through the rest of your life, and then when you get to be a senior, you almost turn back into a child. It's real. It is real, okay? So if you can make it that far, I think that's why a lot of people live recklessly, because they don't want to make it that far. They're afraid of that. They don't even want to live that part of life. They want to live recklessly and die young and stuff, some of these folk out here. But that's a whole nother topic. I don't want to go that deep today. We just going to stick with this show. But it kind of applies to the show because they show that the kind of characters that Riri and her crew are, they're kind of like that. They're young, they're wild, they're reckless. They're doing these heist jobs. They risking their life, whether they superpowered or not. They taking a chance, and it ain't guaranteed, dadgummit. Okay? But the thing is, as a writer, right? And I am a writer, in addition to all my other talents. I'm gonna tell you something. My biggest gripe. See, I told you we're gonna be theoretical over here. It ain't just a bunch of whining, and we don't misuse terms that ain't got nothing to do with these new definitions. Woke was a term that black folk created for each other to give awareness to issues of white supremacy and people out to get you, either in your community or outside your community, meaning even amongst your so-called own. If they don't mean you well, hey man, stay woke. That ain't your friend. Hey man, stay woke. Don't go over to that town. That's a sundown town. Matter of fact, I found a meme. It wasn't even a meme. It was like a literal, documentary style, 1 minute, 2 minute short that was kind of slightly going viral. It didn't go viral enough because not enough people obviously saw it to make a dent in how people still say this stupid shit. But it was a brother who broke down he had found one of the first recordings, blues record recording. I admit I don't remember the name of the artist, but I saw what I saw, and I knew it was on point. I didn't even need to see that. It just added more credibility to something I already was aware of. But it was the first pop culture known expression of the word woke being used the way it was originally used. And it was when I say old, it was a black and white footage film, like one of the first black and white films. And it wasn't AI generated. I looked up the guy, he's a real man and all that stuff. And he's singing a song talking about being, making sure you don't go into sundown towns, which were, if you don't know the history of racism that continues in this country of America, they used to be and are still, but there definitely was. See, now it's like, it ain't broadcast, but if you're in certain areas, people still know there's still shit, okay? But you couldn't be in a certain town and be black after dark because they was lynching folk and all this craziness. The rednecks, the KKK, the etc. They was lynching folk. This is a fact. And this song was about that. And he was saying, stay woke. It's in the lyrics. He's saying, stay woke when you're out. I forget all the lyrics, but I remember hearing that part. And I said, makes total sense to me. But my favorite, more modern version of it all, as far as making it popular culture, which it was already something we were saying, it ain't nothing new to anybody of certain black cultures. As I say, for the cultures, not for the culture, because there ain't no one, right? But Erykah Badu, my girl, man, I love Badu. That joint, I Stay Woke. If you never heard it, look that up. That's I love that song. Give me chills. Love it. But that's that real. So no, we gonna stay woke. We don't mean your version. None of these, even black folk that done fell into the spell of the bull. You quoting what some Republican who wants your history taken out of museums and wants you is deporting your relatives that are legit people that ain't harming nobody, ain't killing nobody, are not criminals, but you telling them, they're criminals and they're this and they're that, and you calling countries cesspools and garbage island and all this stuff you done said about people, man. But you support that, because you in your basement with your podcast microphone, and you feel important because you got some neon lights on in your basement, and you get a few million per view of everything you put out. Man, y'all lame as lame gonna get, man. That's the lamest ever. That's some lame shit. Straight up. You pathetic. Anybody like you, y'all pathetic. If y'all on that, that's pathetic. You'll sell. Then the kind of people, boy, I don't want to be nowhere near them. This is what I'm saying about the mentalities of when you make a choice of, look, I don't care how much money. If I knew somebody who thinks like that ran a movie studio and they giving out roles, man, and I'm talking about, yo, man, they giving out $1 million roles. Okay, well, who's in it? It's that guy who used to do that podcast, and he used to diss everything that had black folks in it and he was black. Oh, what? What? Yeah, man, he hated himself. He hated everybody. And then there was the white dude who would talk like that too, man. Yeah. Them two of them got together and made a studio, man. They giving out roles, man. They got big roles for black actors, man. You might want to, but did you just hear yourself say who is doing it? Yeah, man, but a gig is a gig. No. There's no but. There's no BUT to that. I've got enough adequate information to know there's an immediate threat to everything about my well-being and my ethics that I am not going to participate in that bullshit. Period. But some folk ain't got, they weren't raised like that. They never took a stand for nothing in their whole damn life. Everything's a trend. Everything was, man, whatever the numbers is behind is what I'm on, because I'm just trying to get it. I don't care about nobody else. It's about what I got to get. Well, guess what? I tell y'all all the time, if you take money out the equation, and it can be taken out the equation, life still life's without money. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I keep saying, let the electricity go off and your crypto mining machine don't work. And every time I say this, don't get me wrong, I ain't got nothing against crypto as a concept. I ain't got nothing against having stocks. I ain't got nothing against investing. I ain't got nothing against making money in a capitalist system. I got something against you putting all these systems in front of the actual order of life itself. You cannot eat crypto. You cannot eat numbers on a screen. You cannot survive in real time off of none of that. But if you know how to mitigate, if you know how to give others respect, if you know how to negotiate, if you know how to talk to other human beings, if you understand basic respect and laws of actual nature, not lab created, not article and agenda and pop culture and every other bullshit item created, just back to the basics, you are ready to at least begin the process of surviving if and when the lights go out. But if you ain't thinking like that, I don't care what your fantasy, I don't care how many cosplays you done made where you was a badass and you was ready for the Mad Max and for the Walking Dead, you ain't ready. And you don't want to live that dark fantasy. I promise you. You ain't ready. And you should have a healthy concern. I didn't say fear. Fear is never good. I said a healthy concern about getting ready. But anyway, side note, tangent, relatable, but tangent. Let's go back to the topic. We talking about Riri Williams. We talking about Ironheart. Like I said, the reason why I had my main issues with the show, it can start with how when Marvel introduced her in Wakanda Forever. This girl is brilliant. Yes, from the hood. I'm so sick of the narrative, man. It's not the only identity of Black Americans. And there's gradient variations on it, even when there are people from these walks of life. Everybody from the worst financial or poverty-stricken communities are not necessarily of the same cloth. And a girl who is brilliant enough to get a full ride to a high-tech institution of learning is, I promise you, in real life, on average, is not the type who is going to ruin it or run the chance of ruining it by hustling freaking side tech to other students that can't pass a test, so she sells them test scores and gadgets to finish their projects and win. And as competitive as the nature of how you've introduced the character, it doesn't even fit who she is that you've written. She wouldn't want no lame motherfucker who can't even goddamn pass the test that she can put a blindfold on and pass to get ahead of her in life. She already knows what's against her as a Black woman in the world. Why would she benefit a bunch of spoiled brat kids that are dumb to get the same grade, if not better, than she's getting? Does that make sense? Hell no is the answer. Nobody does nothing that stupid. The character, it's not her. I want to say again, it's not the actors. I give my hat is off to this young lady for making you believe that she as a character can believe herself. Because I know she's probably even sometimes looked at the script like, oh, damn, this don't make no sense right here. But okay, all right, I'm good enough actor. I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to make it look like it. I'm going to make it real. We're going to make it real. That don't make no damn sense. But see, I know what it is. I ain't saying that's her, but I know if that is a part of her thinking, or anybody logical enough to look at the script and say, this is not it. This ain't it. Oh man. Another pause for the cause. Okay. So, thank you for those who hung out with me. But here's what I was saying. So I was saying, like, I know for a fact as an experienced actor, I've been on a set where I saw an actor be frustrated with the lines, feeling like it did not fit the character. It's not something this character would say. I've embraced this character. I've become this character. I get it. I'm not saying I'm the writer. Y'all give me the script. I got the opportunity. Thank you. But I don't think he would say that. Can I switch the words around? Because it just don't. The reason why because they kept stumbling over the lines. They were having a little moment. And they were like, yo, I can't get this for nothing because it's just not natural to say it that way. And the director literally yelled out, should not have done this, very disrespectful. I mean, it was a risk for the actor to say what he had to say out loud. I mean, in typical set etiquette, he could have walked over and put a word in the ear, but I know why he did it the way he did it. It was a moment where there was so much going on with cameras being set up around him, equipment around him. It would have literally had to be an official break for him to walk over and do that. He didn't want to mess up the clock. He just wanted to keep it flowing. So he yelled it out because they had this very jokey atmosphere on this particular set. So he was like, yo, I'm testing my luck. He rolled the dice and he yelled out what he thought. And the director yelled back, where you want to get those lines right or they might be the last ones you ever do. And I was like, whoa. And everybody, like folk on the crew, all of us who were there doing background was like, whoa, like what the fuck? Like, yo. And it was a very uncomfortable kind of like, was that meant to be a joke kind of whoa? But at the same time, everybody's like, damn, that stung. That's not cool. Like, because this dude is like the star of the freaking show. Okay? And you basically just told him, we can get another one. We don't need you. I said, wow. Wasn't that perspective for your ass? Right? Now, that ain't the way it is on everything, but I hate to say it can be mostly the perspective on a lot of things. And I'm not going to name out of respect for my fellow actor who that was, but I got a lot of respect for him, and I'm still cool with him when I see him on other sets I've been on and stuff. But, if he were watching this, for example, I know he would laugh like, bruh, yeah, it's crazy, right? Yep. That's a light version of the word to say just crazy. But anyway, so I know for a fact, if the actress playing Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, is not happy herself with a lot of things that were in the way the script was written and the way her character interacts with other characters and blah, 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 she ain't had no power over that, man. I mean, at the end of the day, this is Disney, this is Marvel. You don't get much bigger. It's almost like getting the kind of accolades that an award like the damn Oscar and all this other stuff gives you in that side of the business. But I've just come to understand from being in it that you got to make a decision with yourself. And this is about anything in life. It wouldn't matter if it was film biz or some corporate job or, anything. It don't matter what it is, what the job is. Keep your integrity at the front of all your actions. Because once people know you will take ish, so to speak, you're done. You're done. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you'll work, you'll make money, you can pretend you're happy, but that's the part. You won't be happy. If you know you're not aligning yourself with your ethics and how you think and the value of whatever you create is not really worth a damn to you, you can become that old man or woman that says, oh, I made a lot of money, but I made a bunch of crap. And I've been around people who do this. Like I told you, I worked with seniors, who just talk nonchalantly and negatively about every one of their accomplishments and stuff. Because, you could blame part of it on the fact if they're at that stage where they've got dementia or something like that. Yeah, that's part of that talking. But the other half is like, it's like listening to a drunk person make confessions that are true. Yeah, they're drunk. They're saying it's slurry. It's weird. They're doing inappropriate stuff. They're touching people, touching themselves. They're doing whatever. But listen to what that fool is saying. That's a part of their mind at work that's being revealed. That's something that's real on trial right now within that person's self. And they ain't afraid to say it out loud because of the liquor. Like, that's how that is, So I say all that to say, and I'm gonna break this down and be done with this, right? The character, I think they call him the Hood, as he reveals himself to be a villain, played by the very, very talented Puerto Rican actor, my brother, who, like I say, I first saw him on She's Gotta Have It. Then I saw him on the Transformers Beast War movie, if you saw that, which was awesome. I thought that was one of the best Transformers redemption movies to redeem the whole franchise, because it had went to cess. I mean, it was nothing. All I cared about for any Transformers movie was just cut out, like, make me a video once the movie is out on YouTube. Like, and people have done this too. Like, they take all the coolest robot scenes out, the non-offensive, racially fucked up ones. You know, we ain't forgot the coon bots. Hello for all my Transformer fans who hated it as much as I did, or any of the other stereotypes that they were given. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, with all the voiceovers, it was obvious who was supposed to be made fun of and spoofed and all that nonsense, all these stereotypes and ugh. But take away all that mess and get back to, like, the coolest moment with Soundwave or Megatron in various forms, or Optimus in various forms with the big sword, the big gun, and, you know, Grimlock as the giant Tyrannosaurus. Just give me all that and you can say the rest of that shit. But when they did Beast Wars, that was a redemption for me, because it was watchable and it was entertaining enough that even when it had little micro Swiss cheese holes in it, I was like, all right, I can deal with that one. I can deal with that one, because there was a real, first and foremost, love for the era it was supposed to be in. It was in the 90s, early. It was literally 93, 94 when I was in New York for college. So when they cut into it at the beginning with Wu-Tang Clan, got the rights to play that, I was like, oh my gosh, they are on point, because that's when Wu came out. I remember being in the dorm hearing a mixtape with Method Man on it for the first time in my life ever heard a Wu track, and was like, whoa, what is that? And me and all my boys in the dorm, we was like, play it again. We was literally like the famous cutaway on the album where the brother calls the radio station and be like, yo, you know, I don't ever call you and ask you to play nothing, right? Yeah. What you want to hear? I want to hear that Wu-Tang joint. Oh man, Wu-Tang again and again. Burn. And then he plays it. Yeah, man. Boom. Watch your neck, kid. You better protect your neck. That was 94. That was 93. The only thing you can say that was just as much that era was Black Moon and Lords of the Underground. And I can add a few more, but when I tell you, when I first got to Pratt, the Lord Chief Rocker, #1 Chief Rocker, every block. It was the truth. So, like, that's nostalgia. And they did that right. And him being from New York, being Puerto Rican, man, perfect casting, great character. It was on point for the most part. Like I say, for the most part, it was on point. I had my little moments in that one too, but it was acceptable for what Hollywood gonna do, and way ahead of the curve, considering whoever made the music choices, whoever did the casting, whoever wrote the damn thing, and whoever directed it. Obviously, worked with the entire unit. That's why you call it a production. And produced. Damn, that was a great film. Period. Versus, I hate to say, Ironheart just ain't it, man. And I really hate to say, because it's gonna be on the report card of my brother Coogler, and it shouldn't be, because this ain't got nothing. I mean, it does, don't. Like, executive produce just means, yo, you took some of your money and your connections and made it possible. It don't mean you may have been visiting the set and having words for what you think should be, whatever. But it's very corporate at that level, and whatever the final decisions are from the top are gonna dictate what you're gonna end up seeing. So ain't no damn telling if he was happy. I mean, it definitely, I'll put it like this. It did not look like a Ryan Coogler film. It had elements of a Ryan Coogler production in general. So that's why it is what it is. But nah, that just wasn't it, man. They did not have the rightful character development. I feel like they just gave us a bunch of token, quote unquote, diverse characters. Catch this the nearest hard object upside her head, something. Damn, I mean, you literally just got your hands roughed up playing with hot wires and stuff in a rusty elevator. You ain't coming out that elevator on some talking. You gonna see the first familiar. Matter of fact, if it made real sense, the tough Latino or what, but I know he played American in another show because he's been typecast. Like literally, this is the second time I've seen bro, and all he gets is that. He's the mysterious, still the lady's heartthrob, gangster gang, gang, he can't do nothing else. In this one, he got his knuckles tatted and stuff. And the other one, he was fully tatted all up here and everything, And his gangland tattoos and stuff. And he's the cholo kind of laid back cholo dude who's real. He may as well be the same damn character he was in the show. I'm trying to remember the show. I actually did this show. I did some background on that show. He wasn't in the scenes I was in, but the ladies were. So it's about these three. Side note, by the way, I'm talking about something else now real quick. I'm going to come back to Riri and Ironheart, but I'm just saying that this one actor, God, I cannot think of the name of that damn show. I think it was it Outlaws? It was something like that. It was like a one word that referenced them being criminals, but basically they're just moms. They're stay-at-home moms, soccer moms, that kind of thing. There's like the one heavyweight black lady, the one skinny soccer mom, white woman whose husband is cheating on her, so she's sick of him, but they're still together. And the black woman loves her husband to death. I love that they made it. Was actually a funny show. That show was watchable. I never finished it, but I did watch. And because I wanted to see how it developed into what I saw when I was on set, and I watched the episode I was on and all of that in the parking lot doing PG. So it is what it is. But it was a fun thing to be on. It wasn't a bad day at work, But I just remember when I watched it, how like I say, the one guy, he shows up and they did this job where either I forget how it went, like they did the job for him or something they did messed up a job for him because they started robbing stuff. They started robbing stores and things because they were all dead. It was like another Set It Off plot. If you ever saw the movie, the classic Set It Off, John Singleton, rest in peace, the king. John Singleton, who brought you Boys in the Hood. John Singleton, who brought you Snowfall. Okay, yeah, that show was his show. Is his show forever, even though, like I say, y'all, like I keep saying, do not live by the code of money first. If money is how you are governing yourself and your legacy, your impact, your art, your whatever you do, whatever you're trying to leave as an impression on the world, if you starting with money, and that's what they did. They fell into the money. They figured, man, we popular because we do this gross, ultra-violent craziness on the boys. Ruin the damn show, in my opinion. And I promise you, even if it gets another, I don't know if the boys is continued or gets another season, but if it keeps going what it's doing, this will be one of the last. If it gets another season, it's not gonna make it. You can't just people. What's really weird about that kind of energy is people think, people love the nasty, crazy. Not when it gets perverse. So even the most, that's what I've always said about Deadpool. People love Deadpool. The only reason Deadpool can remain popular as it is, as a concept and a character on screen, is because there's enough people in the writing room who say, okay, we're just not going to say that. Well, let's make a joke of, we're just not going to say that. Okay, that'll be funny because it's like, he'll say it. Well, I know Marvel's going to kick me off if I say that. Yeah. She would be straight. She would be straight. Riri Williams would be good. Riri Williams would be good. Wakanda would have her back. That would make sense. The show should have started with her in Wakanda. She would have come home with a stipend to get her and her family straight forever. She would have had all the tech that she needed, and she would have been an agent of all the sleeper not sleeper cells for being some spy operation to take over America, because everybody always want to make it like that, you know. And that would make sense that somebody would look at it that way, and there would be that could have been your plot. And see, I'm a writer. This is me writing for you right now. It's not a sleeper cell to take over America. It's not a terrorist group. It's a Wakandan agency, which by the time the king himself, the late great Chadwick Boseman in the first Black Panther film, okay, it gave you him coming back to Oakland, California and buying the building, showed Shuri, like, why you take me here? Because we bought this building, we're going to turn it into a rec center, a community center. We're going to help this community where my father did what he did that wasn't right and what created a Killmonger. We're going to get that right. See, they ain't been to see, and I'm not saying that that's easy to do with the politics of Hollywood, because even to have that scene was amazing, okay? For Coogler to get that scene approved was amazing. But it needs continuum. It would be an initiative that a king like T'Challa would have passed on the mantle to Shuri, and Shuri would have understood it because she stood there with him when it was first announced that that's what we did. So why would she, as queen, as the next Black Panther, and then, of course, like, you could have had that. You could have had her come and say, she should be the, you know, the surprise guest, come in and show, yo, I got you, girl. I did hear that there's a surprise guest, so I might watch the last episode. I might just go all the way to the end and watch the 6th episode just so I can see that surprise guest, because I don't give a damn about the rest, to be honest. I really don't. I done filled in enough of the gap from people complaining to know what happens. But I'm saying, here's my plot, like I say, if it was perfect, in my mind. You have Shuri go to Chicago, say, Riri, I'm coming with you back to Chicago. I want you to know we're giving you the keys to a facility we're opening in Chicago, like the one in Oakland. And we're gonna let you run it. And you'll have your secret lab in the back of it so you can communicate with us and develop more suits and be the literal what you're supposed to be. Young Black woman version of Iron Man. That's what it is. So give her that. It's about, I ain't got no money. We start the episode, it's like the girl didn't even go to damn Wakanda. She's talking about, I ain't got no money, and that's why I'm out here hustling, and I got to get out here in these streets and get it like I live it. Man, if you don't get the hell out of here with this damn rap lyric bullshit, you don't get the hell out of my face with this mess. Like, everybody Black stay po forever. But you out your damn mind. This woman went to Wakanda and fought for Wakanda. Forever. She ought to be all right financially. Can you give me that, Marvel? I'm through with y'all. Hit the comments.